Hey folks, we're going to talk about the Steelwrist and why Steelwrist is so awesome. And what we've got is quite an assortment of Steelwrist. If you don't know what Steelwrist is, go to this clip here. Okay, but our Steelwrist is on a Grapple SK55, I think it is, 5.5 ton unit. We absolutely love it. It's a great size. It's big. Logistics can be kind of challenging with it at times, but it is a great machine. Okay, so Steelwrist. Now, having said that, we've got an assortment of attachments for it. We've got a digging bucket. We've got what they call a cabling bucket, grade beam. We got a grapple here. If I'm going to be honest, that grapple's not been awesome for us. Truth, it's just the truth. It's not been the greatest attachment. They have fixed that since that one. Hopefully their new versions are way better. Everything else is awesome, but everything else. So we got forks for it, was awesome. We've got S40 couplers. I'll show you something really cool. We got a hoe pack there for it, which is super awesome. And the pizza slicer thing. Let me show you this real quick. This thing here, we've used that for various stuff. We haven't had the right application to cut asphalt with it, but someday we'll have the right application for it to cut asphalt. I'm going to need glasses. It is too sunshiny out here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is load up a bunch of stuff. Check this out, folks, a little flexi flex here. We're gonna open up that far garage door. Oh, that's so nice. So this seems silly, but I can now go, instead of going to that door and opening it, I'm cutting across the building. And it sounds silly, right? But we do this dozens, if not hundreds of times a day. And so, or not hundreds of times a day, but at the same time, when you got 5 people out here and you can shave that trip 5 times a day, but in reality, it might be 15 times a day. Little micro efficiencies like that add up. This is our Steelwrist attachment here, and this is just the unit itself. It's got the integrated grab here, which is super handy. I call them pincers. We've got a hook. The guys have recently greased it. We need to grease this thing a lot. It's got a grease block, which is really cool. So there's one point you grease, which is right in there, and all these little hoses go and feed and grease the machine all over the place. So that's really cool. We're also working on trying to make sure we keep these points wiped down. Our last excavator got really, really dirty, and because we didn't wipe that extra grease down. But what we're gonna do is gonna just show you what all this thing does, and we're gonna talk our way through it. Here we go. Oh, it's backwards. So the guys have their own version of this, and I don't like it. It's the Bo Brittany version. I don't like it. We're going to other ways, what Brittany called it. She's mistaken because it's just the right way. So what that does is that changes how this thing rotates with my thumb. I swing the boom. Whoops. Let me show you this way. So here, if you can see in both corners, and on the back side, there's a roller there. That handles my integrated grab, right? And then this side, the top is my boom swivel, sorry. And then this is tilt here. So if you can see both sides there. So this is how we tilt and rotate, and it's the awesomest thing ever. Here we go. So I'll pull this thing up into the cab as close as I can here. But you can see the grabbers, and where that's really handy is if you've got to move something. I'm pretty close up in here, but if we got to move like this compactor here, I'm hitting my roller behind it. I gotta be careful not to smash my roller. So we can take this thing, and I'm gonna get a little better grab on it here because we're at distance. Uh-oh, you can't even see it, can you? Oh, it's in there, what do you know? But we're gonna set it down, and I'm gonna get a little better grip on it since the angle was crappy. But now we got a nice angle on it, so if we need to move this thing over this way, I never had to get out of the cab to get this into a higher area, right? And what makes this, again, so nice, we can set this thing down in or on top of anything, get it into the trucks. Right? How cool is that? So that's where this thing is so handy. I never have to get it down, I never have to get out of the cab to do this. And if you get the SQ oil version of the Steelwrist, which I highly recommend, you can then hook up the hydraulic attachments like a hoe pack But yeah, so like we need to get that up in that upper area. Now we didn't use any sweat or burn any calories to do that. And so that's where this this machine, just endless value in this thing for what it costs. It's just endless value. And so we'll put this thing back maybe without smashing anything up too much. That's the one thing, as you learn to use this, you'll start to put stuff in places and you just do really amazing things with this thing. I love it. So the awesome thing I say about any level of excavator you buy, spend the money on hydraulic quick couple at least. So right now I can grab this, right, and switch and grab this bucket, and now I got the bucket. Again, I didn't have to get out the switch pins or, you know, do anything, and I can grab scoop of material. And say I need to move something here, like these forks, again, without getting out of the cab. Whoops, we're gonna have to change my angle of approach here a little bit. That's okay. But now I can move these things anywhere I need, which I will need these actually elsewhere. So I'm going to snag them and just set them out at distance here. And you could set them down more gentle if you were an actual operator, unlike me, smashing stuff around. Oh, geez. So, but I want to show you something really cool too. I love on, I thought it was only Steelwrist. I've noticed on a couple other buckets now, but you can grab, I'm going to dump out that cabling bucket here. But something that's really cool is those buckets have this lip on them, and I'll show you here once I pick it up. But we can grab a couple of the buckets at a time with these lips under them if you don't want to use the pincers. But these buckets have oh, maybe we'll do it the other way here. There we go. But those buckets have a that lip on there, so I could grab this other 12-inch bucket as well at the same time, and you know, have access to the buckets if I can't use the pincers. So that's really a handy way to grab stuff. I absolutely love it. So we did that, and when you get to where you understand like how to rotate this thing and manipulate it to do what you need it to, you can get it to do all sorts of cool stuff. So then if we're at this point here, I can switch out my bucket if I want. I push a switch in the back and a safety release here. Whoops, I accidentally did my fingers there. But now I could grab this grapple, right? I could switch right to this grapple, and if I have SQ oil, which is automatic oil, this model does not have that. And in hindsight, I want it bad. But now I can pick up this grapple. I'd have to get out and manually hook up the grapple, right? But I would have a functioning grapple right now. So I definitely recommend the SQ oil on these machines, and I could go right to grappling stuff. And then when I was done grappling stuff, or using a grapple, switch out my grapple again, and go back to my bucket or my grade beam in this case. And the grade beam's an interesting device that that's a level of operation you got to get pretty good at to really be effective with the grade beam. But make sure I'm hooked in there. I don't know that I am. Yep. Okay, cool. But the grade beam is cool because we can get in there. It's even got a rod for a or a hole for a oh, come on, Caleb. But we could get this thing just the way we want it, and we could walk the machine. And so when you get really good with it, which I'm, you know, whatever, but I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff to begin to work out soil and you know, get this thing to grade just the way you want. So you can do some really cool stuff with this thing, and plane down high spots. And if you use a laser, you can just do some really fun stuff with this thing. Grade beam's handy. So you also want to clean it off here. We'll dump it off here. So then also, if I want to go to my hoe pack, I can just pick up my hoe pack here, the compactor. Which cool thing about that is you can pick this thing up and get into it, and then you can literally, I could compact flat against a cut of a retaining wall. Like, that's pretty sweet. So we really like that idea. We'll walk over. I'm going to do the thing. I'm going to do the thing I've been wanting. Whoops, I need my bucket. So we'll grab our bucket here. I don't think we're going to need it for what I want it for, but there we go. We're hooked in. We're live all the way around. Yeah, cool. Here and take them over with me for what I'm going to use this for. And that's going to be, we're going to load out some of this junk material into our international truck. So yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put the forks on. We're going to dump all this in that 4300 truck there. Doing this blind is kind of hard when you do it backside like this. Well, I can't see well enough to do it blind, so we're gonna do what a true ninja does, and that's use everything to his advantage, and a steel wrist is just that. Now the haters are going to say, Ahmed, you're not very smooth. Well, yeah, no kidding. Doing everything I can with both the brain cells I got, you know. This thing is a pleasure to run, though. It's one of those things I say, like, you know it's going to be awesome when you get it. I say it's like going to heaven. You know heaven, if you believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and that He died for you. You know heaven's going to be pretty sweet. Well, the Steelwrist, I think, is the embodiment of that, because you know when you talk about getting a tilt rotator, it's going to be pretty sweet, but when you finally get one, it's way sweeter than you thought it was going to be. So I think like heaven is going to be like that. The forks are a real test of skill set, which There's a lot of planes and angles here, which the thing that's going to be fun about this is going to be we're going to dump this on that truck and save the pallets because we got a pallet deposit. So we'll go get the big 4300 and bring it here. Here we go. Come with me. Steelwrist being the investment that it is, because it is a serious investment, a lot of money, but it's worth it. And the reason it's worth it is because the productivity, I can't even describe you. If you're in an excavator at all, and by the way, you need your team to be on board with it. If your team doesn't see the value right out the gate or they're not excited about it, it might take them a minute to actually understand what value the machine brings to the table. We had a couple late adapters at our company, and now the guys love it and couldn't run, you know, we couldn't work without it really. And so I think that's something to be really patient about when you look at getting one of these machines for your company. So I gotta get some sunglasses because my old eyes are having a hard time with this. So I'm gonna grab my sunglasses here. I don't know if I wear my cool guy ones or my wannabe cool guy ones. These are my wannabe cool guy ones. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. And then I got some really ridiculous ones. Like I'm Maverick from Top Gun or something here. Which is what I feel like when I'm in the excavator. But HQ is looking awesome, absolutely beautiful. We just sanded the upper patio, got the grill island built up, working on getting a grill and a bar top for it at the moment. This truck is for sale. It's leaving soon. Unfortunately, I love this truck. It's got great capacity, but the guys hate it and they don't use it optimally, so it's about to leave the company. So bummer. It's got it's got air seats. That's pretty cool. My air brakes haven't let off yet. There we go. All right. Billy Big Rig. I'm gonna lift me up in this seat so I can see what I'm doing. This truck is a non-CDL truck, which is cool. As long as you can't put a trailer on it, or then you exceed the 26,000 pound rule, which there's no 10,000 pound exception, folks. I'd have to show it to me in writing, I guess, because I'd love that, because I'd love to be able to haul a trailer with this and not need CDLs, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're there, we're getting right close. Go till you hit something. Perfect. That makes it feel cool, man, pulling them air brakes. I'd like to let this thing warm up and run for a bit, but I need it to, look at that, perfect. That's when it's perfect, when you almost hit something. That's when you know you're good. Some folks might say, why waste all this material? Well, a lot of this stuff is sat in here forever, and that's how a boneyard builds up and is super ineffective, and that's something we're trying to get away from. So we're gonna grab this pallet of junk here, and what we're gonna do, or the way we're gonna do it here, I think anyways, or maybe I'll dump it all out in the ground and then, because right now I gotta go up pretty high to get it over. But what we're gonna do, because we've got this option now, always wanna be watching your overhead. Okay, so we'll see if this will work. Here we go. Without heck yeah. Okay, folks, here we're going to do the completion of the Steelwrist video here. We're going to show you some cool excavating work going on. But when you drive, you can also just do cool stuff like this for no reason. You just drive down the road doing this for no reason. Okay. We're going to run this pipe, or a pipe, from, nice and smooth, from this point of my bucket on down, below grade, down into our culvert there, and you'll see a video on soon. Yeah, all right. So folks, at the end of the day, the Steelwrist, one of the things you can do is park it like this because you just want to look cool. But this unit is what you need. You can get them on any size excavator for the most part. From your little 2-tonners, I think up to 30, 40, 50 tons. It's pretty wild. So once you have one, once you mess with one, you'll never not have one. I know that's our policy for sure. But super handy. Talk to your local Steelwrist dealer today. All right, folks, from Almond HQ, we'll catch you folks on the next one. We'll see you.